This video idea was recommended to me by Doom Studios, so thank you my man for recommending some top tier PlayStation fanboy salt. Hey guys, so Uncharted 4 is coming to PC and PlayStation fanboys are incredibly salty about it. Especially the one we're talking about today, who felt the need to make an entire 12-minute video discussing exactly why it's a terrible idea for Sony to put Uncharted 4 on the PC. But before we get into the video, boys, we hit 1.3 thousand subscribers today, only about 3 weeks after hitting 1,000, so I could not be more happy right now, and I really appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing, and with that being said, let's get into the video.
How's it going, everybody? My name is The Starks, and welcome to a brand new PlayStation video. Today, I've got some interestingly heavy and upsetting news to me at least, and that is Sony is seemingly Sony seemingly leaks Uncharted 4 to be a PC port.
Yeah man, Uncharted 4 coming to PC is incredibly heavy and upsetting news. I am so sad other people get to play the same games as I can. Like, these people literally sound like children that don't want to share their toys.
Now, I'm going to read off of this article from GamesRadar.com, and it states that at long last, it seems an Uncharted 4 port is on the way. That's according to a presentation via PC Gamer Sony published for its Investor Relations Day today, in which one of the slides clearly lists Uncharted 4 as one of the company's planned PC releases. Sony has been open in the past about wanting to bring more of its IPs to PC, supporting one of the PlayStation 4's most popular games from a first-party studio seems like a no-brainer.
Exactly, it does. Like, there's literally no reason for Sony as a company to not port their exclusives to PC.
And then they go on to talk about the review, which I'm not interested in reading here for you today. So I just want to get into this and just straight away, because this is crazy news, crazy to me at least, because this is Uncharted. This, is a really beloved series among the PlayStation community, and obviously it's a very successful series which has generated millions of money for PlayStation, and obviously Naughty Dog being the developers of this IP, and I just want to get into why I think this is bad. I think that this recent onslaught of destruction.
Sony ports games to PC, PlayStation fanboys be like, onslaught of destruction. Like, to what? To the PlayStation platform? How? What does it change for you? You can still play those games. It's just now more people can play them. What's the problem?
That Sony has been perpetuating in their Californian headquarters, and all these executives are really showcasing this display of greediness.
Jesus Christ. Like, is this guy literally talking about how it's greedy for Sony to port games to PC in order to make more money? Like, you realize that the main goal of a business is to make money, right?
And money-hungry ideologies and methods that they seem to have for this new business model, and I don't agree with it whatsoever. And before I get a lot of hate comments and people responding with like, oh, you're a fanboy, cut the buzzword crap, because let's be real here. It's not a fanboy to disagree with what a company that I've been a consumer for the last for a long time now. It's not a fanboy of me to disagree with what they're doing.
Well, actually, in this case, it kind of is. Usually you'd be correct, right? Because if you spoke out against a company, you're obviously not a fanboy of said company. But in this case, you're speaking out against the company because you feel they're making decisions that could hurt the company or could potentially hurt the fanboy community. You are upset that now other people get to experience these exclusive games on their preferred platform and not on a PlayStation. And now PlayStation fanboys like you can no longer use these exclusive games to brag about how much better your platform is than, for example, the PC.
To disagree with their business model and to disagree with them putting a game like Uncharted 4 for the PC market. And you can have a disagreement with me, but don't call me insane, mental illness, and a fanboy for having this opinion. I think it's an honest opinion, and that is I don't think that Sony is making the right call here. I think it's very greedy of them, and I think it's obviously money driven, and that's cool. Yeah, it's a corporation. I get it. It's a company. They need to make money. I understand. Well, they don't need to. They've garnered billions of dollars since the inception of PlayStation back in the 90s. Okay, like they've have so much money.
Yeah, and they still need to make more money. You want to know exactly how much money Sony would like to make every single year? More money, because they're a corporation. They always need more money. It's not like they're just randomly going to be like, okay guys, I guess we've made enough money now. That's not how this works, especially if your biggest competitor is Microsoft, who just casually drops $7 billion on a studio. Like, I'm pretty sure Sony only made about, what was it, $5 billion in revenue last year in total, right? And if your biggest competitor just drops $7 billion to buy up part of the market, you are going to need more money.
And like they've have so much money and have made so much money, and for them to kind of take this approach, which I mean obviously Xbox, a lot of the quote unquote exclusive Xbox games go on PC. I mean, it's owned by the same company, Microsoft, so that's understandable.
Okay, I want to clear this up once and for all. Microsoft does not own PC. Like, yes, I, like most people, run Windows as my OS on my PC, but that doesn't mean that my PC is like a Microsoft platform, right? Because like I use Steam, and last time I checked, Microsoft does not own Steam. And also, like, what if I had a Linux OS, right? It's not like you need Windows 10 to play Xbox exclusives. Pretty sure you can just use Linux or other OSs as well.
But for Sony to take this very odd switch approach really shows them trying to compete with Xbox, and maybe that's because it's a business model that works for Xbox. Will this work for Sony? Who knows?
Yes, it will work for Sony, and yes, of course, they're trying to compete with Microsoft. If your biggest competitor in an industry starts to take over parts of that industry, like for example with Game Pass, to which there really is no competitor, and if you say PlayStation Now is a competitor, then I'm going to punch you in the face, because it's nothing like Game Pass really. And other things like xCloud, a streaming service, which I guess Stadia exists, but who the fuck owns Stadia? And PlayStation Now is in fact a streaming service, but it can only stream to a PlayStation, while Project xCloud should be able to, for example, stream games to your phone. And on top of all of that, Microsoft is putting their games on Steam and making fuck tons of more money. Of course, Sony is going to respond. Like, what do you expect them to do? To just sit there and watch as their biggest competitor slowly takes over the industry?
And ultimately, yeah, I am a fan. I am a consumer. Not a fanboy, I'm a consumer. I'm not a pony, I'm a consumer of video games. I'm using my PC to record this video right now. It's a PC that I built. I play PC games. My first console was an Xbox.
That literally means nothing. The Joker Productions, the guy I made like a video about 2 or 3 videos ago, that guy apparently has one of the best PCs you can build. But he still acts like a massive Sony fanboy, like the entire time. Whenever Sony does something even a little bit good, he fucking praises them and sucks their dick. But the second Microsoft does anything good, he goes like, oh, that's pretty good, but Sony could just do the same thing if they wanted to, which is just the greatest argument ever. Fucking brilliant, my dude. And for another example, right, I think it should be clear from my videos that I really dislike Sony and their anti-consumer practices, like raising the price of games from $60 to $70. But hey, I own a PlayStation 4 and I play it sometimes, so
Okay, I bought an Xbox, the Xbox One back in 2019. Played it for a few months and never touched it again because it's an awful system, and its interface is garbage. But I'm a fan of video games. Period. Like I'm not a Sony pony. I haven't been on my PlayStation 4 in over a week.
You haven't been on your PlayStation over a week. That means nothing. I don't know. Most PlayStation fanboys, for as far as I know, spend most of their time on Twitter. Like, they literally probably spend more time on Twitter making fun of Xbox for some reason than that they do actually playing the games they hype up so much.
So I find it interesting that once you have like a differing opinion from this like mass majority, you're titled a pony and a fanboy, a Sony pony.
No, see, you're not being titled a PlayStation fanboy because you have an opinion that differs from the vast majority of people. That's not the case. Your opinion falls directly in line with the large group of Sony fanboys. And because your opinion is exactly the same as the other Sony fanboys' opinions on the same matter are, that is exactly why you are being labeled as a Sony fanboy.
You have a mental illness for having an opinion against what this big I don't think it's multi-billion, but multi-million for sure dollar company like Sony is taking this very like this money-hungry approach in essentially putting a lot of their marketed exclusive games on PlayStation 4 and 5 onto, and I just mean PlayStation 5 by you're able to play Uncharted 4 PlayStation 5 because of their backwards compatibility. That's what I mean before anybody misinterprets what I say. But that's essentially what I mean, and it's not wrong to have this opinion. You can disagree with me, but I think Sony is making the wrong call here, ultimately.
But why? You haven't given one valid reason why it's bad. Because they're greedy, apparently? Yes, they need more money. Not only because they're a company and they always want more money, but also because their biggest competitor is Microsoft and they pretty much have infinite money. So what other reason do you have? Like, what other valid argument is there to not put PlayStation exclusives on other platforms? Because at this point, it just sounds like you're mad that other people get to play a game that you thought only you and the other people that bought a PlayStation could play.
Yeah, I don't disagree with people being able to play video games. I don't disagree with more people being able to enjoy video games. I know this one Twitter user, I forget his name, he's irrelevant to me, but he said how, let us enjoy what we want to enjoy. I want to play God of War. I want to play Uncharted 4. I want to play all these different games on PC. Good for you, brother. And I disagree.
Man says, I don't disagree with other people being able to play this game. Then goes on to say that he disagrees with other people being able to play this game. Literally in the same sentence. How fucking dumb do you have to be that you literally contradict yourself in the same sentence? Like, just think about how stupid that is. Well, actually, you probably wouldn't be able to realize how dumb it is since you left it in the fucking video, you retard.
I disagree with Sony taking that singular business approach by saying, hey, you want to get more money? This is the way to do it. Obviously, because it works. I mean, obviously, PC gamers have longed, ached and have been hungry for all these exclusive PlayStation games, and now they've given the opportunity to do so. Will this hurt their Sony's overall score in terms of money? In terms of hardware, absolutely, it definitely could. I know there's this concept, this interesting ideology where more PC gamers get these games, the more interested they're going to be to buy this PlayStation hardware.
No, I don't think anyone believes that's true, but first of all, Sony doesn't make money on hardware. They lose money on every PlayStation they sell. They make money on software. That's like fucking console business 101. Second of all, I don't believe that this will hurt PlayStation 5 sales at all, because most PC players won't buy a PlayStation 5 ever. Most PC players have their PC and then maybe a Nintendo Switch, but that's it. They're not going to buy an entirely new console for $500 just to play a couple of games. So if anything, Sony will make more money now because the people that were going to buy a PlayStation 5 in the first place will still buy it, and the people that have PC that would never even have bought a PlayStation 5 can now buy the games.
Yeah, I'm sure there definitely will be. But will that be a business approach that, you know, that works for Sony down the line? Probably not. I honestly don't think so. Like, why would me, a PC gamer who's loved this PC market, I love all the games that I get, I'm now being sent all these exclusive, great PlayStation games. Why would I go out of my way to buy hardware for the PlayStation or for Sony? That doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. But most PC gamers already don't buy a PlayStation. So...
And ultimately, Sony has to think of it that way. It's like, well, now no one's gonna really be exposed to your hardware. No, this just gives people another narrative to devalue the PlayStation title, to say that it's not as good as they say. It's not as good as if it were running on a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. Like this.
Yeah, man, you're totally not a PlayStation fanboy. That's why you're worrying about how PlayStation exclusives coming to PC could potentially devalue the PlayStation 5 brand. Like, what normal human being gives a fuck about a company? Like, why would I care about how a company is doing? Like, especially if no matter how bad their console sells, I can still profit from their games being on my platform anyway.
This is clearly a horrible... Like, I'm laughing, and I find this funny because I can't believe Sony is actually putting Uncharted 4 on a PC, or planning on... I mean, this is just a leak. Right? Like, this is not necessarily confirmed.
Yeah, you're right, it is a leak, but then again, the leak was made at an official Sony press conference by Sony themselves, so take that as you will.
I believe this was a patent. This was some form of presentation for the investor relations, which was today, obviously, May 26th. And good for Sony. Like, if they think that this is gonna give them a lot more money and a lot more exposure, I mean, they're wrong, but who knows? It might work in their favor, right?
Yeah, man, they are wrong and you are right. Like, do you genuinely believe that? Yeah, man, the people who study business, probably the people that run a multi-million dollar, even a multi-billion dollar, because I looked it up, company, they are wrong. But this random kid in his bedroom, he is completely right. He knows everything about business, everything about the games industry. Like, do you genuinely believe that you, probably some maybe 20-year-old in his bedroom, knows more about business and the games industry than professionals who work as executives at a multi-million games company?
But I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm disappointed. Sure, I'm not a Sony pony. Like I said, I haven't been on my PlayStation 4 in over a week.
Sure, my guy, you're not upset. You just sound incredibly upset. Same way you're not a fanboy. You just sound like one. I barely touch it. I'm a hardworking individual who spends a lot of his time, not always, but a lot of my time playing PC video games, right? Like, exclusive PC video games. Would I play those games on my PlayStation 4 console? Hell no, right? Because this is the PC experience. This game was made for PC. The games that I play were made for PC. So what are you saying? Uncharted 4 shouldn't come to other platforms because it was made for PlayStation? Like, does it have to be played on a PlayStation? Is there something about the PlayStation that makes Uncharted 4 unplayable on any other console or a platform? The answer is no. Which you actually don't have with all PC games, because grand strategy games like Crusader Kings or Hearts of Iron could not be played on consoles.
It's different when they're cross-play, and they are developed for multi-platforms. But Uncharted 4 wasn't developed for multi-platform. Sure, it could be played as a multi-platform, but it was marketed as an exclusive first-party PlayStation video game. And for Sony to take this 360 and spin that narrative and say, hey, well, screw that, what we said 5 years ago. Let's put this on PC for everybody to play.
I shouldn't have to tell you why this is a dumb argument, right? Like, oh, Sonic the Hedgehog is now available on all gaming platforms. But back in 1991, I was promised that this would be exclusive and only available on this Sega Mega Drive. That is why it's a dumb argument.
Right, for all this entire PC market, because we want to generate more money than we already have, because why not, right? There's that missed opportunity. You know, I genuinely do not support what Sony's doing here. And it's not a matter of people not being able to experience these video games. I would love people to experience Uncharted 4 if they were to buy a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 and Uncharted 4 on that console, on that respective console. That is how it's worked for the last 30 years.
But the industry has changed, my guy, and what you really expect PC gamers, which you're apparently a part of those people, right? You're a PC gamer. You really expect them to go out and then buy a PS4 or PlayStation 5 for 200 to 500 bucks and then also buy, on top of that, Uncharted 4. So you want them to spend like about 560 euros to play the best version of the game on PlayStation 5, right? While they can also just buy the game for cheaper on PC because of Steam sales and key shops, and then play it with higher graphics and better frame rate. So you want them to pay more money to play a worse version of the game because, according to you, that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah man, you're totally a PC gamer, my dude. Not a fanboy at all.
I mean, let's be real here. A lot of the PC gamers out there, a lot of the fanatics will say, hey, you know, every 2 years, your PC, your graphics card, and everything else in between is garbage. You need to update it. It's almost like a phone.
Okay, so it's become incredibly clear that this guy is not a PC gamer. I have never heard anyone say that you should upgrade your PC build every 2 years. Because after 2 years, apparently your graphics cards become shit. I know zero PC gamers who think that the 20 series of cards are shit. I know plenty of people that would still recommend me to buy 10 series cards. And according to you, apparently in 2 years from now, the 30 series cards will be shit, even though at that point they'll still be the newest cards on the market. So my guy, it has become quite obvious that you are in fact a PlayStation fanboy. Not that I needed more evidence for that than I already have just looking at your channel, because your profile picture or your channel picture is a PlayStation controller, your channel banner has a PlayStation controller and all the PlayStation logos and whatever the fuck in it, and you only make content about PlayStation news.
But the narrative here for a lot of these PC dudes is like, you need to update your shit every 2 years. And yeah, so that narrative where, oh, you know, a lot of people on the PC can't afford to buy a console. It's like, well, if you can afford to update your PC, I know for a fact you can afford to buy a $200 PlayStation 4. That's just a fact, right? So I don't really understand what Sony's doing. I don't agree with Sony. I'm not a fanboy. I'm just voicing my concern about their business model.
Okay, you guys, I literally cannot listen to this guy any longer. So real quick, no, it would not make sense for a PC gamer, even if he had the money to upgrade his PC every 2 years, which nobody does. But even then, it wouldn't make sense for him to spend hundreds of dollars on a PlayStation and games to play a worse version of Uncharted 4. But with that being said, I think I've lost so many brain cells during the making of this video. I'm just gonna end it here. I was actually going to take a look at his comment section, because his comment section is fucking hilarious, but I don't feel like we have time for that anymore. So yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all the support lately, and I'll see you in the next video. Fuck, speaking is hard. And goodbye.